Geeks in the closet. Geeks in the closet. Hello there, welcome back to Geeks in the Closet, episode 7, The Geeks Awaken. Thank you for that, Jay.
Stole it from me.
I did steal it from you. To my left is the man I stole that intriguing intro, Jason.
How do you do?
And to my right is the man who will be serenading us with his sweet, sweet tones later, Francis.
Yeah, the loser.
Now, we know that in the end of the last episode, the forfeit for losing Geeks 2 Jeopardy was to sing the intro song. But because Jay came up with something particularly unique and impressive,
and he's a prick,
and that we decided to leave it to the end to sing you out on our first forfeit
and let Francis squirm through the entire podcast.
Yeah, I will be reminding you through it.
T-minus 30 minutes.
Also, in other slightly important news, we decided that against our legal team's wishes to drink during this episode.
Hey.
So for anyone who was a fan of our last drunk episode, heads up, this is for you. So in this episode, we're going to have, as usual, our Week in Geek, where we'll catch up with each other geek-wise. We're going to have some news, courtesy of GA. We're also going to be talking about the best and worst of Superman. And then Fran is going to entertain us with his Tried Something Nerdy, and then sing us out just before we do our Zazu.
Beautifully.
Exactly.
Beautifully.
Well, time permitting, of course.
I will make time. I am moderator and I will be a time Nazi just to make sure you get to sing us out. So first, Week in Geek. Who would like to go first?
Oh god, my Week in Geek. Well, okay, what have I done? I've been playing Bloodborne a bit more. I've beaten a boss in Cainhurst Castle, which I was pretty chuffed
because
about.
last week you were only getting up to that.
Yeah, so I've cleared that area. I've beaten that boss. Happy out that I've done it. Without spoilers or anything, I've beaten the boss. There's a new boss. You know that boss that you...
How many times have you said boss?
I've
then?
said boss several
Shot.
times. There's another boss that you stopped playing the game at.
Oh yeah,
I
can't
found
remember his
him
name.
and I tried him once and I haven't gone back to him.
It's
yet.
like
I
a
failed the first
slug
time.
with like 8 legs, but giant and made out of
Dead bodies that are kind of attached to him. And then there's these women that ring bells up from the
It's
rafters.
intense.
Not the rafters is the wrong word. The
Ramparts.
Ramparts. There we go. They're ringing bells at the top and they're hurling fireballs at you, so you're gonna have to run up there and deal with them a bit.
Women,
as
am I right?
We're an equal opportunities podcast.
Yeah.
We're just 4 men doing a podcast.
So that's what I've been doing. Other than that, I also found out that for some reason Nintendo gave me €10, so I downloaded Pokemon Yellow for free.
Oh, nice.
So I've been playing that. I've been doing a Nuzlocke run of that. Yeah.
What's a Nuzlocke run?
It's fun.
Is it like the Kelso run? You know, from
Kessler Run.
Kessler run.
you do it in 12 hours.
Nuzlocke Run was inspired by this guy who he did a webcomic on a run through he did of Pokemon Ruby, and what he did was basically the rules were when you catch a Pokemon, that's all well and good, but if a Pokemon faints once, you can never use that Pokemon again. So it's like
Death is
Pokemon,
death.
but if there was death instead of fainting.
And then in your PC box, you've got a graveyard where you put the ones that you've killed.
How are you
leave
getting on?
them in there? What?
How are you getting on? Any deaths?
Yeah, I've lost Batman well.
Oh, you have to nickname them.
You have to nickname all
your
of them.
Pokemon, so you have more of an emotional attachment to them.
What was he,
Yeah.
Zubat or something?
He was a Zubat.
Yeah,
They called him Batman well. So we lost him in an epic gym battle with Brock, and yeah.
Oh man, I just thought a Nuzlocke in Yellow would be tough.
Yeah, actually no, that wasn't with Brock. No, it was a random friggin' battle I lost him in.
Did you like pull out your gun and shoot up towards the sky in angst?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've still got Chewy, my Pikachu. I've still
Nice.
got Sandy with an eye, who is a Sandslash.
Of course.
I've got just randomly. I've got spelled Mjolnir, but pronounced Meow Meow, a Mew. Because I now know how to get Mew in Pokemon Yellow.
with the glitch.
There's a glitch, you can get a level 7 Mew, so I'm enjoying that. So, Meow Meow.
I am interested in finding out because do you know about the Pokemon Bank, Francis?
Nope.
No. Okay, so you know the way like there's now been so many games, Pokemon games, that you have to move the Pokemon from one generation to the next.
Yes.
It can be
Get them
difficult.
all.
So now they have what's called the Pokemon Bank. It's basically a cloud for your Pokemon, so you can upload them and download them.
Isn't there a cloud Pokemon already? Looks like a bird.
No, Altaria. It's a dragon. I'll have it. But you can upload your Pokemon from Pokemon Yellow to the cloud. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering, can you upload the Mew?
Yeah.
Even though it's a glitch, you can.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Huh. That's interesting.
Oh, that's a good. What a better question is though: can you upload Missing No from Pokemon Red or Blue?
I hope not.
I was thinking the same thing.
He said nodding his
It was
head.
the burning question.
I'm
It
sure
is.
our listeners can sense the sarcasm in Fran's voice,
I
right?
need to see his facial expressions. Is that it for your Weekend Geek?
Yeah, that's it. Really, I'm just enjoying that at the moment and hoping not to kill any more critters.
Any idea why they give you money?
No, I have no idea. I didn't question it.
Do you have a Nintendo account?
Yeah, well, I have a DS, so yeah, you do
You have
kind
to
of.
have
you
it.
They
have an
credit
account.
you?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. My
Interesting.
credit card is linked to it. Yeah.
And did you get an email? Because maybe I have that and I don't know.
Maybe you do check it because I don't think I ever bought anything online to warrant.
You know, you have the games. You know, the Me games. They're the ones you-
I did. Maybe
Yeah.
that was it. Maybe that's where that tenner came from. But it's been so long since I touched my DS. I'd well forgotten about it. Then.
Maybe they're like, "You're back. Here's €10. Stay." Very
Yeah,
good.
that's my Weekend Geek.
Cool. Fran, what was your Weekend Geek?
My Weekend Geek was pretty straightforward. I think the most exciting thing I did was I watched the pilot, which is 2 episodes of DC's Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh yes.
I know you've kind of both already.
I've 4 episodes in, maybe.
Yeah.
I think.
No, so I'm technically 2 episodes in, but it's still just considered
the pilot was a
yeah.
two-parter. Yeah.
I had watched the build-up episode where they kind of broke down who's in it and how they're in it and stuff like that. So that kind of prepared me because watching it, what I liked about it was that they didn't treat you like a baby. Like they basically didn't stop every 30 seconds and explain who this person is.
Yeah.
Which I'd
Yeah,
say
yeah.
if you're a proper CW fan, you probably really appreciated that because you should know who everybody is.
Yeah, yeah,
So the other
yeah,
way.
yeah.
Whereas I didn't, but I'd watched the episode, so I kind of was like, fair enough, I can just.
You just get on with it, don't you? Like maybe we don't need an origin story for everything.
yeah.
Just let it be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. I kind of really liked it, and I'm not a big CW fan. I tend to drift off whenever a CW thing comes on. What I did like about it was, I liked the combination of the Firestorm,
Yeah.
how their powers are
Yeah.
interlinked. Thought
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
very
yeah.
clever, and also, I liked. Now, I don't know if I'm picking this up correctly, but Randall Savage is the bad guy,
Yes.
and he is immortal.
Yes.
And then his
Savage, isn't it?
Vandal.
V.
Vandal,
Yeah,
not
V,
Randall.
yeah.
Okay. And then there's also Hawk Girl and Hawk Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they get reincarnated.
Yes.
And their powers are interlinked, so that
Yeah,
in
yeah.
order for him to stay immortal, he has to kill them.
Yeah.
And that was very clever.
And
Yeah, it's cool.
I like that.
I think you know this. No, I'm not gonna say it just in case you don't. But do you know how Vandal Savage can be killed?
I think I do.
Well, they've had a few different theories already. They're like, one of them has to
Do the
Deal
deed.
the killing.
deal
Yeah.
the killing blow. And then they have got this magic dagger that might work as well.
Mm.
That's all I know so far.
Okay. Yeah.
Because he was technically killed, I'm using air quotes here, in a Green Arrow episode, but they said because
He's immortal. He has to be killed in a certain way,
Yeah.
otherwise it won't work. So you just keep
It
coming
doesn't
back.
stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the Atom, is that?
The Atom, Ray Palmer. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Why?
Do I know him for something else?
Yeah,
do.
he was a Superman.
I was thinking,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
We're gonna be talking about.
we're
it
talking
later.
about him a lot. I'd say.
a bit of a step down, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
your
that's
Weekend
it. Yeah.
All right, my Weekend Geek. I went back to. Have we ever discussed a Telltale game yet?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
What on the podcast?
I'm sure I've mentioned.
We've
The
mentioned
Walking
it good
Dead
bit.
at some point.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
basically,
Oh, we definitely explained what Telltale
Yeah,
was in
we
one
have.
episode,
Yeah,
actually, so we don't need to do that again.
so I went
Just in
back.
case you're about to.
We don't need to do that
Come
again.
on, Connor.
So a video game is a thing where no.
Wait.
Back
There
when-
once was a monkey.
They used to be a fish. No, I went back and played Tales of the Borderlands.
You mentioned this before.
I
actually.
did. I played a good bit of it, and then something came out. I think, some game came out, and it kind of distracted me. And I had just finished the Final Fantasy Platinum run, and I was very proud of myself. I said, "No, do you know what? I'm going to go back to something that's a little bit easier to play." Went back to Tales from the Borderlands, and I platinum it as well. So yay! But God, I forgot how good those games can be. But they're really not games, you know. Like, have you played?
It's
them at all?
story driven.
I have played some of the Walking Dead. I've played, Walking Dead. Yeah.
Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And you've played season 1 and 2 of Walking Dead.
Season 1, and I'm like more than halfway through season 2 of The Walking Dead, and on my list is Game of Thrones, which I will have played before the start of the next season, so that's
Which
on
is
my list soon.
in less than 50 days.
Yes, I'm going to start playing that soon.
Nice vague reference there.
How's that a vague reference?
It's 49 other days it could be on, like.
No, it's in less than 50.
Yeah.
Well, there is that whole Twitter thing of
50.
50.
Gosh,
Yeah.
GOG 50. Yeah, so no, I just forgot how good it can be, because I really don't consider them games, to be honest. I consider them interactive movies, I suppose, because there really is very little gameplay beyond, press this button at this time or you'll die. And then you just play it again, you do it and you're fine.
They somehow inserted the worst mechanics that are in certain games and made it enjoyable. Because you know when you play those games where there's some sort of half CGI sequence but you're actually in control and you've got to press square at a certain time, you're like, oh god, I hate this. And they just turned it around. Yeah, they just completely turned it around.
I think though that, see, there has been a bit of criticism thrown at Telltale Studios because they've only done these games. They've done no other type of game. They've done Game of Thrones Season 1, Game of Thrones Season 2, The Wolf Among Us, I think it is. Help me out. Did I say Game of Thrones? No.
The Wolf Among Us, Tales from the Borderlands, Walking Dead. They're bringing out Gotham. That's going.
And they also recently released the Walking Dead Michonne thing. So but all the games are the exact same format in the sense that there's going to be 5 episodes. Each episode is 6 parts, and that's it.
But there's 2 ways you can look at that. You can look at that like, oh, they're a one trick pony, or you can say, look, they have their own unique style and they're stick to it.
It works. Why fix it?
Also, my Week in Geek. This is a big departure from our typical Week in Geek. I went to an unusual night out. I've told you about
we're not counting this.
I think
this?
I am.
Oh, okay,
I am,
go on. Sully our podcast.
I'm not sullying anything. The reason I'm counting... Okay, hang on. First, what it was is I went to a... what?
A swingers party.
No. I went to there's a group called Film Fatale, and they organise these kind of themed nights in Kilmainham Hospital, and they're usually 1920s or 1930s era style, and the bands are like that. There's shows going on in it, and the music is all like that, and everyone has to dress like that to get in.
To get in the door. And did you see anyone get turned away?
No snapbacks.
No, but I saw nobody not dressed in that style. Now I saw some disapproving looks at people's runners. There was 1 or 2 who clearly didn't have any shoes or time to buy a new pair of shoes or money, and just decided not to go ahead with it. The reason I'm bringing it up is because it struck me that although it's not traditionally geeky in the sense of video games or superheroes or anything like that, people are dressing up in an unusual, it's
form of cosplay.
It's roleplay.
It's basically a form of cosplay or roleplay. It's a kind of a period night out, like in the sense that like you have to go in a particular style. Anyway, I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a really, really good night out. The music was brilliant. There was
burlesque show, wasn't
there was a burlesque show, which was it was just bizarre, but it was very entertaining to watch. What else was it? The drinks were really nice as well. They had punches instead of your typical cocktails and stuff.
Okay.
And they were really good. Had a few too many of them. There was a roulette wheel stand, and there was no money because you have to have a license to have a gambling area. But what it was, you just showed up with and they just walked up to the table and you just got handed some chips, and you just put them down. And if you won, you just got kind of like something out of the prize box, and it was things like bubble mixes and little cup and ball games, all this kind of silly stuff. There was also a blackjack table, and there was loads of just little areas where they had set up kind of furniture in such a way so it looked really good for photos and stuff like that. I really enjoyed myself anyway.
Was all this going on at the same time? So if you didn't like the music, you could pop all over to the blackjack table?
So there was 2 rooms with 2 different bands constantly playing. Okay. And the bands, like one band might say, right, we're all moving into the chapel now if you want to stick with us, and then another band would come on, then another band take a break. Then after 11:30 a DJ was in one particular room, and it was kind of more modern music, I want to say, but it was actually 60s.
It was modern for them.
Modern for that time period. So no, it was a very, very good night. Tickets were a little bit costly, €30 for the ticket to get in, and then like the drinks were €6.
For the punch, €6 for the punch.
Yeah, but it was really nice.
How much would you get? Goblet, tankard, a drinking horn.
A cup. It was a cup. Okay. It was a small amount, but like I said, it was really nice. The bands were really, really good. If you think of it like you're basically going to a very tiny, tiny, tiny music festival, and look at it that way, it's cheapish. But anyway, look, I really enjoyed myself. I'm gonna go to the next one. They have one every March, August, and October and November, depending on how Halloween falls. So I'll probably go to the next one. So that was my Week in Geek.
Very cool.
Yeah. So Jason, I believe you have some news for us.
I do. I've got about. Thank you. I've got about 5 or 6 little pieces of news, and then one piece of news that got really out of hand. So there's a lot there to talk about, and we're going to talk about it for a while, I think. So I'm going to fly through these first ones, and we'll spend a bit of time then on the meaty one.
Okay.
Pokemon Go news. Japanese users have begun signing up for the closed beta field test to begin in late March. Global beta testing to happen in the coming weeks and months. Also announced is a staggered release of Pokemon Go across the world, coming first to Japan, North America and Europe, then the rest of the world.
Huh. So Europe, America, North America and Japan at the exact same time?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how they're fitting the brackets together and what exactly that meant.
Can I cut across you?
Yeah.
Because
what do you have?
Yeah. I'm moderator, I get to do what I want. I read somewhere about this, and then someone else came forward and said, no, that was a mistranslation because that was announced.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and I think it's that it's not going to be a staggered release.
Oh, well, that's the complete opposite of what they wanted to get across.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. So what they should have said was it's a worldwide release.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. They need to fire someone, clearly.
The translator.
Okay, and that looks interesting because there might be a beat over here and
a what?
Beta or beta, whatever.
There we go.
I'd say beta. I don't care.
Yeah, isn't he a character from the Hunger Games? Beta.
We might sign up for that.
For Hunger Games?
No.
In fairness, it really sounded like you were saying that.
Let's sign up for the Hunger Games.
Jay volunteers as tribute.
This is such a drinking episode. Okay,
you're drinking.
We could sign up for that. We're all drinking.
I know.
Lionhead Studios.
Ooh, Fable fame.
There you go.
And Black and White fame. Which
there you
go. Very good.
Well done. Microsoft has decided to cancel the upcoming Fable Legends in development since 2012 and close UK-based Lionhead Studios. Most famously the creators of the Fable series, as Fran said, and Black and White, as Conor said.
We're so
good at getting all the nails in my head. Did you actually write as Fran said and as Conor said?
No, I just added that in because
I thought you knew us really well.
News.
I thought you just knew us really well.
Any reason why, Jay?
I think it has something to do with the decline in the Fable series as a whole. Like, the first game was excellent. The second game was also quite good. Some would argue it's not as good. I personally enjoyed the second one a little bit more, but the third one then was just the bastard child of the three, and it was awful. And they also did a Kinect game, which was crap as well.
Journey, wasn't it? Fable?
Yeah, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm thinking Microsoft might have interfered way too much in them, because for game developers to have such great ideas in the beginning and then feck up the entire series afterwards, it must have been something happened in the studios anyway. I think it was interference, but I couldn't prove that. But Microsoft have decided to close them down.
Will that be absorbed?
Yeah, I'm going to get to that. Okay. Lionhead Studios was co-founded by Peter Molyneux in 1996. He's very famous. Yeah,
Did he go touring with Kojima?
That's not him.
No,
that's not him.
That was Mark Cerny. Peter Molyneux is the guy who made the Civilization games.
Yeah.
And Populous or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
He is. He's kind of famous for hyping up games, and then like sometimes they fall flat, and then he looks like a gobshite on the news, and then he gets really thick with the media.
Sorry, no, I'm wrong. Sid Meier made Civilization. Peter Molyneux made that game Spore. Do you remember that?
I don't think he made Spore. Did he make Spore?
I don't know, but
he made some Civilization-like games. That's why I was nodding with you. He did
Sin City or something.
I'd have to Google it now. But,
well, let's move on.
Yeah, we'll move on. So Molyneux has vowed never to work for Microsoft again. Sony has reached out to Lionhead Studios via their Twitter at PlayStation Jobs account on March the 10th and announced they will be hosting a recruitment event for the studio and urge them to come along for a drink and a chat.
Is that cool or is that like a sly dig?
I think it's really friggin' cool because Fable was always in a weird place in Microsoft, because Microsoft is kind of typically, not totally, but typically it's the shooter sort of console.
Yeah,
if you like shooters, you're going to be playing it on an Xbox. Like, but Fable was this gem of an RPG that looked like it should have been a Sony, like a PlayStation title, and it never was. And I don't think, personally, I think they weren't treated with the respect that they should have been as a game.
Who would own the rights? Yeah, the creative. What do you
Oh
call it?
no, Fable. Fable won't be
intellectual property.
Who owns intellectual property?
I would imagine that Lionhead Studios own it, but because they've done a deal with Microsoft, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that they won't be able to make Fable again. But there's nothing stopping all those people doing a new IP for Sony and taking all their
the exact same thing, just called like
story.
Well, that's what I think is going to happen. They're just going to take Lionhead Studios and make it, Giraffe Knee Studios for Sony, and then they're just going to continue making something similar, which I really hope happens.
I really liked Black and White. That was a really, really good game. Did you ever play it?
It's the greatest game I've never played. Someone bought me an expansion for it, and didn't, without realizing I couldn't play it without the actual game. So I always looked at it and was like,
it was very good. It was basically just like a typical Civilization type game. You had a little city and you grew it. But what was interesting was you were a god, so you were praised, and you could choose to be a benevolent god or a malevolent god. And you also had this kind of creature that wasn't your avatar, but wasn't your pet. It was kind of like the stepping stone between you and your followers. And you could train them to be really independent and go around and gather crops and stuff, or you could train them to be basically the super soldier of your army. And it was massive, like they towered and over mountains.
But depending how you treated them, they ended up being good or evil, and that was kind of in their aesthetic.
So like they kind of followed your lead. So the better you were as a god, the more benevolent the creature was. So like I always picked the wolf because it just looked cool. If you were good, it would have white fur, its fangs would be slightly rounded, it wouldn't have claws, and if you were malevolent, it would have black fur, red eyes, and really long claws, and the teeth would be really sharp. And it would eat people for food instead of crops.
But they did that in Fable as well. So if you, as a character, were a good hero, you'd end up becoming very angelic, blonde. You'd have no like.
You'd have a halo.
You'd have a halo at the end, but you'd also you'd look quite attractive, and you wouldn't have like any wrinkles or anything like that. You'd look kind of really good looking. But if you were evil, you'd start getting cracked facial expressions, scars. You'd get horns on the top of your head. So Fran was always quite ugly. Just slaughtering villagers left, right,
outside of Fable as well.
Okay, moving on.
The closet is dark.
Moving on, Elder Scrolls Online news. I don't know if we talked about this before, but back in January, Elder Scrolls launched their #million reasons to play giveaway.
Never knew about this.
Okay, so basically, someone who was playing the Elder Scrolls in America between, let's say, the start of January to the end of January had a chance to win $1 million just for playing the game. It wasn't applicable to us, it was only for America. So one player based in North America would win $1 million for simply playing the game. That winner has been chosen. Ryan Rager, 30-year-old from California. Ryan has no idea what he's going to do with all his money, but reckons a new TV for his Xbox is certainly in order. He just won $1 million. He's not going to get the full $1 million in one whack. I think he's just going to get $25,000 a year for the foreseeable future.
Oh, sweet!
Yeah,
and it's going to be like in Crown Store, you know that shit.
No, really. Buy all the horses you want,
exactly.
Ryan.
Oh, you'd be sick if they pulled one winner.
No,
you
it's real life money.
Crowns.
He's sorted now. Real life money.
Oh, I don't know if he's sorted.
$25,000 a year.
Oh my God.
No, hang on. No, what I mean is, I just mean that like $1 million, even spread out over a lifetime. It's you're not set up for life. Like he can't quit his job.
Oh, no one's saying that, but
I know.
You wouldn't say no to $25,000 extra a month.
Jesus,
like,
no.
Jesus, it's more than I'm earning.
Oh, a month.
No, a year.
Sorry, a year.
And tell me this. I totally forgot what I was going to say. They can't renege on that, can they?
Hardly.
Well, if they go bankrupt, maybe they have a leg to stand on, but I don't think Bethesda are likely to go bankrupt anytime soon.
That's
they could pay that out of the profits of Fallout 4 at all.
Oh yeah.
And speaking of which, the DLC is out very soon.
Yeah, I saw the ad. Deadly.
Yeah, that's right.
Deadly. Find the ad on our website. It will be there, I hope. If I get around to it.
So I'm just add trailer to website.
Visage update. So this is the Kickstarter that I was plugging left, right, and centre. It's been funded with 120,129 Canadian dollars, which is about 20 cents. So they reached their game extension goal. The game is due to be released in January 2017. So they reached every goal except the last two, and they did quite well. They only needed $35,000 to get it going, so they made over 120. So pretty successful.
That creepy ass game you made me watch the ad for.
Yes,
the one you left the house in tears nearly.
Fran does not like scary things, so of course we're going to make him play the entire game in VR.
And record every second of it.
Small little Batman v Superman news.
Go.
Aquaman and the Flash are not going to have origin stories.
Yeah, I heard this. Yes,
Within the film or at all?
At all, as in they're just going to be introduced in the Justice League, and then they'll get their own movies, and there won't be this whole origin story.
Oh, okay.
Shiza Minnelli.
I would have liked not the Flash. We all know, like, you know, I'd have liked to know Aquaman's backstory though. Like, because I don't think that's been done except in animated form.
Never, ever, ever.
And even then, I mean,
oh, sorry, no, it has been done in an animated movie, but I wouldn't even count that. Yeah.
Do you ever watch Entourage?
no.
I've seen an episode or two. Yeah.
It's funny because that's years ago, but one of his big breaks, the main guy Vincent Chase, is he plays Aquaman.
Yeah,
like they make parts of the movie, like, and they show you kind of see.
You see it throughout.
Yeah,
the
really?
thing. Yeah.
Ah.
Clips of it. It's very cool. Very cool. That was years ago though.
He
does not look like Jason Momoa. There we go.
But Jason Momoa doesn't look like what Aquaman's supposed to look like. But
Jason
I've
Momoa
nearly
only looks like Jason Momoa.
I've nearly wanted to watch Entourage just to see the little bits of Aquaman just peppered into
I'm sure
it.
someone's done a supercut of it on YouTube.
Oh,
somewhere.
it definitely exists. Like The Simpsons with
McBain movie.
Yeah.
So much. Apparently, they didn't do that on purpose.
No way.
I think that's bullshit, though.
It must be bullshit because it works too well as a narrative.
No, it's way too well. It's way too good.
Mendoza.
Good.
Brilliant. Spider-Man. He's been revealed.
Hey.
He's been revealed in the ad, and I suppose everyone's seen that now. Those eyes.
I suppose everyone has seen that now.
I suppose.
While tea fumes in the corner.
What his costume, guys?
Yeah.
Very old fashioned, but like it's real classic Spider-Man from like the originals. They're really throwing back to that. But you know the eyes,
Very expressive.
they're not CGI.
Yeah.
They're not CGI. They're going to work like a camera lens. So he'll do
Wait,
all
what
those.
do you mean they're not? They are CGI.
They're not CGI. That's what they're saying.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm confused. Right,
They're
okay.
not CGI.
It's to do with
Basically,
his eye
they work
eyelids.
with the way he moves his eyes, and it just works like a camera lens. Apparently, unless I read this completely wrong.
I think it's more that it's in the story. It works like a camera lens.
That's possible. I'm
What
kind of
do you
hoping
mean?
it's not.
So basically, you know the way that they narrow at the end?
Yeah.
That's him zooming in.
It might be Tony Stark has given him a bit
Tony
of tech,
Stark.
but why did he bother just giving him those eyes and
Yeah.
nothing else? I don't know. That's why it didn't make sense to me.
I think it's going to help with his expressive.
Oh, it definitely will.
Yeah.
Sure, Deadpool would have suffered if you couldn't have the.
Very glassy.
Yeah.
And as well, I mean, if you especially in the Tobey Maguire Superman, Spider-Man films, the mask is off like every second scene.
Yeah, or they just put it up over the lips.
Yeah, and that I think that was because what you just
Yeah.
said. They had to do that because of the lack of expression that a mask. does
Very clear cut colours as well. Do you know, like blue parts, red parts, blue parts, red parts on his arms.
Yeah, and then the black parts are the biggest change. He's got loads of black parts. Did you notice these?
to you. Yeah.
Are they web shooter slinger thingies?
Well, he's got on his wrists. Okay, he does seem to have the web shooter things there, but he's also got like stripes, kind of army style stripes in black stripes in different places around like his top of his arms and top of his legs, I think, as well, and possibly on his foot. I don't know. We haven't seen too much of it.
What did you think of his introduction?
Yeah, it was cool.
I think it was perfect.
I don't think they. I know they had to do it from a marketing sense to release all the toys and crap, but I'd kind of prefer it if no one saw it until the movie. I really would have liked that, but I don't think that's possible anymore.
Yeah, but like I think what they did was just the right amount.
Yeah,
I think the fact that he just drops in, and literally the fact that his first words in the Marvel MCU, the Marvel CU, I should say, is just "Hey everybody" or everyone.
Hey guys, or
Hey
everyone,
guys,
or
hey guys.
I don't know.
No, it's everyone, I think, or everybody. Anyway, either way, I just think it was bang on, just the right amount. It was just enough. I mean, to be honest, I watched that trailer. I was pumped for Civil War.
Anyway,
during that trailer, I was like, this is going to be much better than I thought, and quite long as well. Did you hear about the running time? 2 hours 27.
Nice.
Brilliant.
I like that.
Love it.
The longer the better.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Especially in this one because there's so many of the Avengers in it. Like, there's so many characters in it.
Yeah.
And there's so many bits in the trailer. I was like, oh my god, that's awesome. Oh my god, that's going to look so cool. And then Spider-Man was just the cherry on an already awesome cake.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree.
Are we fans of the suit?
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
I like it because it's modern. When his eyes are wider, it looks more like the Spider-Man we all knew and loved in the animated series years ago. But then when it zoomed in, it looked just like the 60s costume.
It
was
did.
so I was
It
like, I
was.
kind of like that it's like,
Yeah.
you know, no paying homage to both types of suits.
Yeah, which is cool. But I have to say, I've never hated any costume.
No,
in the 3 series,
they've all seemed to
been
naturally progress nicely.
Yeah, but I think we'll get more character. I don't know what the word is, but we'll see, not progression, but we'll see more of his character when he's talking, like his expression, because of the eye thing. I think it'll make a huge difference, and I think it might make the original eyes from the other 2 Spider-Men look a bit stupid in retrospect. But we shall wait and see. It's coming out soon enough. So we didn't fly through that bits of news like I thought we would, but we've reached.
It took 15 minutes. That's all right.
We've reached the meaty part. So this is kind of.
I'm gonna sit back.
Yeah.
Couple of weeks ago, Fran was talking about Harry Potter news, and then I was kind of following up on that and looking at it. He was talking about Harry Potter in America, and stuff was coming on Pottermore. Well, it's arrived, and it's all there, and there's an awful lot to get through, and then there's a bit of controversy as well. Peppered in. Someone's going after my girl JK. I'm not happy about it.
I snap my fingers in his headphone meeting.
So, author JK Rowling has released a plethora of information on her
Fran,
site.
how many beers have you had at this stage?
That's classified.
Conor, stop cutting across me.
Sorry, it's just I saw Reach with you and I was like, Jesus, I'm still on my first can.
He's thinking about the song
am.
later on.
Like,
he's drinking and drinking and drinking.
Please stay true to the end.
I'm still not feeling that happy buzz where I feel like singing at all.
He's so uncomfortable right now. Okay.
It's great.
Can I start now?
You can.
Okay. Author JK Rowling has released a plethora of information on her site Pottermore about the wizarding world across the pond. Details about historical conflict between American wizards and no-mage villains, that's muggles to you and I. Apparently the American public were more suspicious about the magical world than their European counterparts. Wild West bounty hunters were a disgraced ex-wizarding group called Scourers, whose descendants attempt to expose and eradicate witches and wizards. A bit complicated, but you know the way Wild West there wasn't much law going on back then. There was all these bounty hunters. Well, in what's going to happen in the movie is a lot of those bounty hunters were actually wizards who were kind of originally sort of policing, but eventually came a bit corrupt and started robbing trains and all that crack and doing their own thing. So they ended up becoming disgraced. They ended up they were being hunted down, and they eventually started resenting being part of the wizarding world for some reason, and then they tried to breed out the magic in their own families to the point that the descendants that we are going to see now are mostly muggles, but they know all about the magical world and they're trying to hunt down wizards and expose them.
Okay, so they're essentially witch hunters.
They're essentially witch hunters, but they're
descendants of that. Okay.
I don't know how it's exactly going to gel together, but that's the information that we've been given. But yeah. So they've
Murka.
Basically, I'm guessing they decided they didn't want anything to do with magic anymore, and they just only mated with muggles, and then they only ever mated with muggles.
Made it so clinical.
Yeah.
They only ever had coitus with muggles.
Oh.
Not better.
You're going the wrong direction.
Okay, we'll sidestep that now, and yeah.
In other words, stop making fun of me.
Wands are also going to be used as a metaphor for guns a lot, so I don't know how the NRA are going to feel about this, but that's going to feature. Witches and wizards need to have a wand permit.
Oh.
Protecting the wizarding community from exposure to no magic extremists. So it's they kind of had that originally, as in you could find out what the last spell was cast on a wand. I know that was a thing, and then if you're underage, they can track you. But
if you use it outside of the school year,
yeah. But I think this is going to be everyone's tracked all the time, and there isn't an age limit, and they know who's done what spell and where and with which wand.
Ugh.
Yeah.
This is all for the upcoming movie.
All for the upcoming movies. That's how things are going in America. I don't know whether in the modern era, in the 90s or the noughties, it's going to be like that over there. I don't know. But in 1920s America, this is still the case.
Okay.
Which you kind of, if any young witch or wizard is running around the place and can cast an unforgivable curse if they feel like it, or any curse, it kind of makes a little bit of sense, even though I don't like it. But I can see why a country would have brought in rules to...
It's interesting that this is being brought into the American wizarding world.
It's so obvious.
With the midst of the whole iPhone FBI thing that's going on.
I wonder, this is dark, but I wonder will they do like a Columbine incident?
Ooh, that's very dark.
Yeah, in Ilvermorny or whatever we're calling it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? That would be interesting. I don't know whether she'll go there though, but she is going with the it's very obviously talking about
it's on
guns.
the nose, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's also a law known as Rapport's law that keeps the magical world completely segregated from the non-mag world. This will be a theme visited in Fantastic Beasts, and basically that means there's a law now in the 1920s in America that you can't associate with Muggles and you can't start families with them.
Kind of like civil rights.
Yeah. Very much so.
And is that very much supported by wizards, or is it not?
I don't know yet. Now, I'm not going to read out the backstory, but there's a backstory of this witch called Dorcas, and she becomes what? I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but she was apparently very beautiful, but she was a dunce, and that's where the word dork comes from in America.
Okay.
But basically, she nearly exposed the whole wizarding world because she was such an idiot. And since then, because that happened over in America, this law came out to separate Muggles completely from witches and wizards. Okay, so that's basically the news, and I'd urge everyone to go on to Pottermore to check that out. But since releasing all this stuff on Twitter, there's been a bit of a backlash, especially from the Native American. I don't want to say Native American community because I might be insulting them because I know they're not one community.
Communities.
No, see, I think JK got in trouble for this very thing because she had not just that, but I'll delve into it anyway. Someone on Twitter was tweeting JK, and she said he or she says, I can't make it out.
Zai.
Filav. I don't know what Filav. Anyway,
that looks like a kind of a what's the help me out here. Thai name.
Thai name?
Yeah, as in from Thailand.
Sure. Doesn't matter. Gender is not important here. Okay.
Thailand or
that's another subject entirely.
That couldn't have worked better.
You'd swear we wrote this shit.
Oh God. Okay. Well, Filav of no gender description asked the question: will the wizarding school in America have any relevance to the Native American Indian culture?
Conor, that was not subtle at all.
That wasn't subtle at all, no.
So JK retweeted and said, if I answer that fully, it'll reveal the location of the school, but you can take that as a yes.
Okay.
And then she retweeted again and said, oh wait, did you mean the name is of American Indian origin? That is not Sly opening that.
I was trying so hard.
Oh wait, did you mean the name is of American Indian origin? It isn't. The name is of immigrant origin. However, indigenous magic was important in the founding of the school. If I say which tribe's location is revealed. Okay? So she sent that, and then there's this doctor in America called...
isn't there always?
Adrian... Oh God, what's her surname now? I wish we did this episode.
Sorry, can we just stop for a second? He's hating on America so much in this episode.
He knows they're going to do something to JK soon.
Yeah, I'm pro JK, and I'm not just kidding about that. Okay, we found the sweet spot. It's 3 beers.
Sing it now.
There's this Dr. Adrian, I can't remember her surname now, something, or Adrienne something.
Okay.
She is from
America.
Yeah, is it the Choctaw tribe? I can't remember. God, I wish we did this the day we were supposed to do this. I knew everything.
Hashtag my bad.
Let's get that trending, people. Hashtag Fran's bad.
Fran's bad. Basically, she's a fan of Harry Potter, and she always has been. And then she found out it was going to be happening in America, and she was a bit intrigued, but kind of worried because she doesn't feel like Native Americans have been done the right way in the media ever. So anyway, she has a big following on Twitter and everything. I think her doctorate has something to do with Native studies culture, and something like that.
So she's not a medical doctor; she's a PhD doctor.
Yeah, I think so. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but that's the impression I got. I didn't look up her credentials. So she wrote an article about this, about how worried she was, and she kind of started off positive. She's saying, points for saying it was of immigrant origin and not just saying American and different stuff. You can look this up yourself. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Well done for saying indigenous magic. There's points for Gryffindor there. And then she kind of gets onto where she feels like JK might be going wrong with it.
Even with there's such scarce information.
Oh, and even if I read out,
it's so scarce.
I'm looking at you scrolling, and it's like you're scrolling a lot.
How could she already have a full essay prepared on how wrong JK is when she said 2 tweets?
I know. Well, what happened after that then was she read all the stuff that was released on Pottermore, and there was more after that. But yeah, no, I
What's the bones of her problem?
The bones of her problem is she's worried about someone who's not Native American writing about them anyway, and then she does this thing called a cultural refusal or something as well, where she doesn't feel like she has to explain Native American culture to non-Native Americans. So I don't see how JK could win really there at all. But anyway,
she just sounds like a
one thing she said
that
she said that I did agree with, though, and I can't bloody find the paragraph.
Damned if you do,
so much of it.
Damned if you don't. If she
ignored
very
like
Native
that.
Americans, she'd be all up in her grill.
Yeah, but basically she's worried that everything going to be done with the Indians now is going to be very typical. I said the word Indians, I'm going to get in trouble. Everything done with Native Americans in the media is going to be done in this again, because the promo video for all this Pottermore stuff had like a Native American person diving off of a cliff, kind of like Pocahontas, and it was very typical, and then it turned into an eagle and flew away, and she was like, oh god, that's so typical. But kind of the crux of her problem really is
Animages.
Yeah, it really fits into the world so well, but that's what they're doing. They're saying that all the skinwalkers stuff, like, you know, like crap from Twilight, like they can turn into.
Yeah.
But that we know that kind of comes from their culture anyway. That there were these
They've got
skinwalkers.
legends.
They've got legends about all this crack. But that fits in. If in JK's wizarding world, that fits in quite well because they can be animagus, and that maybe that's where that came from.
Not like that, but like I know there's a big difference between a cliff and a desk, but I think it's in Philosopher's Stone in the movie. You see a cat on the desk. The cat jumps off and just changes into McGonagall. Like if you were doing it in reverse and jumping off a cliff and turning into an eagle, of course you'd jump off a cliff and turn into an eagle. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, compared to I'll just jump off this desk here and turn into an eagle. Like, no wait, go big or go home.
Yeah,
I got a cliff right over here
beside my desk.
Well, anyway, I think her problem with this is I think they still kind of believe in this stuff. Like that's survived. Like that part of their culture survived, and they still have these traditions. It is part of their culture, and she kind of I kind of took this point from her anyway, that to this day at like Halloween, kids are going to dress up as vampires, ghosts, and possibly Indians, and because it's kind of we've kind of satirized at the word. I don't know, but it's very in the culture that you can dress up as an Indian as if it's a made up character.
Yeah, and even then, like,
insults them, I think, in a way. But I'm still trying to find my way around her argument. But I did accept the fact that we do parodies of the Red Indians all the time, like, you know. And she's kind of worried that this being such a big thing, Harry Potter, that
it will perpetuate.
Yeah, it'll perpetuate that stereotype. So she's really worried about that. So she released a load of things. I'm not going to read everything out that she did, but there was, people had questions on Twitter and they're asking her for clarification on certain things. And one of the things that she read out about the description of the Native Americans that are going to be in the universe was that the myth that there was evil skinwalkers among the Native Americans was a myth perpetrated by the nomads over there to discredit them, to discredit the native witches and wizards, and really they were just animagus. So someone asked a question, I'm a little confused, can you help me? Were the skinwalkers evil or not, or were they simply animagus? Because the wording was a bit funny and it was hard to kind of work out. I get where he was coming from. And JK responds, in my wizarding world there were no skinwalkers. The legend was created by no-mages to demonize wizards. Oof. So this Dr. Adrian, I can't remember her surname, replied and said, it is not your world, it's our real native world, and skinwalker stories have context, roots and reality.
Shut up.
You can't just take a living tradition of a marginalised people. That's straight up colonialism / appropriation. At JK Rowling. So
sure, Beyonce got in trouble for doing dancing. I'm going to say this horrendously, but like, you know, Slumdog Millionaire style dancing.
Yeah.
You know, she got in trouble for doing that because it was called appropriate. Yeah, like it's the exact same thing. Like it's a art form. Oh no, that's probably really bad.
No,
it's something.
No,
legal team evacuate.
The legal team are getting really worried now because we're drinking and talking about sensitive issues.
Look, here's how I think it. Like the problem is, the entire world, due to colonialism in the past, has become quite small, and now we are now aware of so many different cultures and so many different things that we're only getting tiny little snippets. And I think it's really, I just think it's. There's a whole globalization thing going on. I think it's really silly for people to choose to be offended by people who aren't as educated as they should be before they talk about something.
Yeah.
And it's not fair. Like, and just to prove a point, I mean, look, let's call it spade a spade. It's the centenary of the 1916 Rising, right?
I was going to get into this. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Like, I mean, we could get really angry about, like, how come the BBC aren't putting on loads of stuff, and how come, you know, like, I mean, I guarantee you, we could ask anybody in the UK and they wouldn't have a notion what's going on.
Yeah, Irish people are good at letting things go. We just thought we get on with it.
I know, but what I'm saying is that's something that every culture should be doing. Like, like this woman should be saying, hey, look, why don't I just contact JK Rowling and say, look, could I maybe help to kind of just tweak things?
See, I don't think she's going to do that, because I don't think she thinks it's any of JK's business, all this. Like, this is private to them. They don't want to share it with outsiders.
She does it on fucking Twitter.
Look, I'm finding it hard to agree with her, but at the same time, I'm trying to stay impartial, and I'm trying to try and see it from her point of view. But it's a struggle anyway. But anyway, she, after all this stuff on Pottermore was released, and I'm not going to read JK's side of it, but she kind of took that article and then broke it down into paragraphs, and then she stated everything that was wrong with it. So if you want to read JK's article, read it yourself. But basically her main complaints was that it's the stories centering it on Europeans, and JK calls the brutal colonizers benign explorers, so she's really thick about that. What else was there? Then there was a bit about... she said the Native American community, and that she didn't like that at all. She got really thick about that, because they're not one community. They're actually a couple of different communities together. I can accept that.
But at the same time...
Yeah, but what I don't understand is... Oh, here's what she calls it.
So eloquently put.
At the same time.
She calls it an ethnographic refusal. So she doesn't feel like she has to... Like in our reasoning, we think, okay, JK needs some sort of Native American advisor, so, you know, she can know her stuff and you do an accurate representation of...
I'd agree with just that now, I have to say. Okay. I think if you're going to write about a particular culture, have someone who's an expert in that to inform you about...
It's not the worst idea.
You know.
But the problem is, she feels like she shouldn't have to tell JK any of this stuff because she's not part of the community and it's not her business. So that's where she's coming from. So she's kind of damned if she does and damned if she doesn't. But I think at the same time, if she wrote this story and didn't include the Native Americans because she couldn't talk about them, she'd be told she was a racist as well. The Twitter exchange that I found, I'm not going to say the names of who they were, it's not important, but there was a normal dude, I think, and some girl of Native American descent, but they were having a little Twitter back to back, but it kind of highlights kind of what's going on. He tweeted, I think it's a he anyway. She mentioned African wizards in passing during Goblet of Fire. She's now mentioned Native American wizards in passing during this writing. So I assume that you'll be demanding a full apology and a series of short stories about colonial wizard powers in Africa. And
when was that mentioned?
It is.
I think it definitely was at some point about African wizards. Like, well, you've got Kingsley anyway, don't you?
Yeah. Shacklebolts. Kingsley Shacklebolts.
Yeah, I'm sure it was at some point. I'm sure the Weasleys went to Egypt.
Yeah.
There are no Native American wizards and no basis for the concept. We're not magical creatures. We're contemporary peoples who are still here and still practice our spiritual traditions. Traditions that are not akin to a completely imaginary wizarding world. And that's a quote from Dr. Keane, apparently. Oh, that's her name, is it?
Oh,
there we go. We have it there. Then this guy, you'll like this response, Fran, so you don't need to do a witty report. Okay. Again, I have to ask whether you've ever even read the books, much less the recent writings. She specifically stated that there were Native American wizards. That's because Rowling writes about a fictional world where magic is real. Jesus. This is like trying to explain hobbits to someone who wants to insist that J.R.R. Tolkien hated short people. Which is it's a good response.
I like that.
And then your one wrote back, Dr. Keane writes about reality, and then he got a bit hurtful after that. I don't know what the term is, a bit spiteful. He says, like, the reality of shapeshifters. Which was a good response, but it's a bit of a stab at their belief system and whatnot. But anyway, at the end of that, I saw another tweet from an Irish dude and really got me thinking. I'm going to end on this.
Team Irish dude.
Right? He says, should the Irish be upset about JK Rowling's incorporation of leprechauns? they, and I presume he means us, have been marginalized and colonized similarly to the Native Americans, and we were part of, some would argue, a genocide as well.
Yeah.
With the famine. So we've got these leprechauns, and leprechauns were used to make fun of us for years and years. And the image that we see of leprechauns now are a distorted thing that they used to use in the UK media to depict Irish people doing stupid things.
And in the American media.
And the American media as well, definitely. And JK uses them as a mascot for Quidditch. And Quidditch actually is apparently based on hurling. So we've got our former colonial power basing a sport on our native sport that we weren't allowed to play, and people died.
For the record, JK Rowling is not our former colonial power. Be that as we love that was the case.
Yeah, but I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I don't agree with this.
No, you're right.
But we've got the sport of Quidditch, which is based on our sport, that the British soldiers would shoot people who actually attempted to play the game. She's based her Quidditch on this game. And she's also incorporated leprechauns as our team mascot, an image that's been used to make fun of Irish people for years. So my question to the panel really is, did we miss the boat in complaining about something that we should be deeply insulted about? Or are we going the other way? Because no Irish person was bothered by this. Like, have we lost something, or have we just moved on and we're able to live with it? Like,
I'll put it like this. What she did was... when JK Rowling wrote that, right?
Yeah.
She wasn't trying to be offensive.
No.
She wasn't ignoring the culture, right? But I think we're perfectly happy as we are. I think there's no reason for anyone to ever be offended when a fictional writer takes something from a culture, molds it to fit the fictional realm they're creating, and tweaks it in. You know?
Yeah. Or is this an element of? And I'm kind of. I'm kind of nervous about saying this, but
we can edit.
Is it just the case of, and we say this a lot
Sorry,
ourselves?
I'd love it if we just cut it there. Is it a case of
the Americans taking things too seriously?
Yes.
Oh,
do we think so?
Yes.
100%.
And I'm sorry if I'm insulting anyone by lumping Native Americans in with all the Americans, but oh god, in Ireland, if there's a comedian, you can make fun of anything and anyone. Everyone knows he's joking. But if you're in America, you can't make fun of black people if you're white. You can't make fun of Jewish people if you're not Jewish. Over here, make fun of all of them. Make sure you include all of them in making fun of
and yourself.
Yeah, and yourself. We're great at
Having
laughing at
said
ourselves.
that, though, I would argue that there is only one thing that Irish people do take offence to.
Yeah.
And that's other people saying, oh, they're not Irish, they're whatever. Because every year around award season, when it comes up to films and stuff, like we'll say this year, Saoirse Ronan was included in. She was included in a Best British Actress category in some awards. And, look, I don't give a crap.
I would. That would bother me.
It does bother me a little bit.
British is like, I mean, half the world is British. If that's the case, do you know what I mean? Like,
No, what I mean by that is, like, I don't get crazy offended to it, but I'm like, no, she's Irish, but I don't care because I'm like, I know the truth. But you know, that's a little bit different because there's actually an interview, and I thought it was very funny to watch. Some interviewer, I can't remember what it was, Tom Hardy and Cillian Murphy were in the same film. Does anyone know what film that might have been?
Tom Hardy and Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy and Cillian Murphy. Cillian Murphy of Breakfast and Pluto fame.
Batman. They
Not
were in
the
Batman
movie.
together.
They were in the movie, but they were also
Dark
in
Knight
a
Rises.
TV series
They
about
were.
Peaky Blinders.
Was it? It was Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
I was thinking. No, it was only recently. But
right.
basically,
They were in that together.
Yeah.
Which one?
The one with
last one.
Bane.
Because Scarecrow's at the very, very
He
start,
is,
isn't he?
at the end as well. He's
Yeah.
in the courtroom.
But you wouldn't interview. What I'm saying is, for that, you wouldn't interview the two actors together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, what happened was basically the interviewer, they said, all right, so you're two British actors who, and Cillian Murphy went, no, I'm Irish. And at the same time, Tom Hardy, it was fucking ridiculous. He just shook his head and went, no, don't do this, don't do this. And then the interviewer goes, oh no, but you know, Irish, British, it's the same thing. And you see
but like we do
Tom Hardy freaked out. He was like, oh god, you didn't just say that to an
opened
Irish
up
person.
the can of worms. Yeah, but in fairness, like that happens with the old Canadian American thing at times, and I'm sure it's in other places that I'm not sure about. But the last thing I'm going to say about this, and the very last thing I'm going to say about this, and I think it's kind of telling, is I listened to a podcast, or was it a snippet from a radio show? I'm not sure, but she was on. Dr. Adrienne Keane was on, and she was talking to this woman, this host, and she didn't really give her any hard hitting questions or anything, but one thing she asked her at the end was, so the Harry Potter community is quite a large open community. How has feedback been for the fans? You know, has it been overly positive, or you know, how are fans of Harry Potter been reacting to your article, or how you've been your views on what's just been released on Pottermore? And your one, Adrian Keane, says that's the thing I'm most shocked and surprised about. Like,
in a positive way.
No, as in, she said, when it was announced that in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child there's going to be a black woman playing Hermione, the Harry Potter community was very positive about it. They had no problem with it. They backed JK to the end. They had no issues with that at all. When it was revealed that Dumbledore was actually gay, everyone was very positive about it. No one minded. But she said most of the feedback that she's been getting from Harry Potter fans is quite negative against her, and kind of telling her to cop on and stop taking it so seriously.
And rightly so.
Yeah.
I think that's the most telling thing and the most damning thing on her side of the argument.
Yeah.
If Harry Potter fans are so open, why can't you see that you're overreacting here? I think
she's jumping on the media bandwagon and hoping that she can build some traction for herself and her cause.
Yeah, it
even
seems
though
a bit like that, possibly.
Pretty shaky foundations for her argument.
Yeah.
Oh well, look.
Well, that's my huge piece of news.
That was a big piece of news, and we did.
But I knew we'd be interested, and we'd want to spend the time talking about it.
No, you were right. You were dead right. Don't worry. It's just look.
It makes me feel weird.
I feel dirty there.
To be honest, that's something I could rant on for ages. Like
we probably will after the podcast.
Yeah.
Has it settled down, Jay?
Or is it the kind of thing it's fizzling on?
I'd have to double check now, but since the episode was delayed by about 4 days, I did media blackout.
Which, by the way, we apologise for the delay in the episode.
Hashtag Fran's bad.
So I'm kind of leaving that for if someone in the next news wants to pick up something else that's been said, then you do that.
And from your opinion, has JK Rowling been quite eloquent or quite
That's something else I should have said. The kind of feather in Adrian Keene's cap is that JK hasn't responded yet, and she's putting that as a positive from her side of the argument.
She's quite down to earth. Is that what you were going to say?
Oh no, I was going to say JK is quite famous for being very active on Twitter.
Yeah, she is, and it's her response, her lack of response has been noted, is what she said.
I'd say,
but JK's got to really sit back and think about her response before she gives it back, because
she probably
she's
has
going
her
to have
own legal team.
She does, yeah. She can use ours if she wants.
Yeah.
Well.
They're very good. They're sweating bullets.
She's got to diffuse this situation pretty quickly, I think. But go onto Pottermore, read it yourself. It's only a page long, the bit that's causing the issues, and it's not that bad. And I think it totally makes sense for Native Americans to be animagus or animagi, whatever way you say it. It totally makes sense, and it fits into the lore, and it's a fictional bloody world.
Did you say that there are people out there who genuinely believe in skin changers?
Yeah, but there's people out there that believe that God had a son and died, and so you can take any religion and turn it on its head and say it sounds ridiculous. Like
there's also people that believe that God sent an angel to talk to Muhammad. Let's just make sure we criticize all religions
everybody.
Equally.
Yeah. So for any Muslim listeners out there, we're criticizing everyone, including you and ourselves.
Yes, indeed. Jay, thank you very much for that very controversially inducing news. Now I'd like to just pare back a little bit, and let's just talk about someone who has all powers all the time, Superman. So we're going to be talking about. We're not okay. So with Batman, right? I was kind of thinking about.
My sinuses are acting up.
Your sinuses made that noise. When we talked about Batman last episode, we talked about the best and worst appearances and what was good about Batman, what was bad, and I was gonna do that as well. And then I thought, do you know what? No, Superman has been kind of plagued with issues nearly all the time.
Good. We're going there. Thank God.
We're going there, and I just want to kind of explore. Look, how can Superman be portrayed properly and be relatable? Still, how can he be Superman, relatable and interesting?
Yeah,
because you can't. It's hard to do. So, just one thing I just think you guys might not be aware of that I researched a bit. Superman's powers are insane,
and they've grown.
Yes. Now, basically, what happened was from the 30s when he was introduced up until the mid 80s, his powers just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, because each time a new writer come along and they'd be like, oh, but I want this to be like the best thing Superman ever did, and then they'd make him do something, whatever.
So Superman can do anything as like a story plot, essentially. We need him to do this now, so
the
now he has that power.
Superman film, the Christopher Reeve films, were based on the old Superman of the 70s and 80s. In the 80s, I've heard it, but I never understood it. There was a series that DC did called Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah.
You know about this?
I've heard of Infinite Earths, yeah.
So basically what they did was they said, look, nearly all our flagship series have conflicting continuity issues and origin stories and So what we're going to do is we're going to say they were all infinite possibilities in this multiverse, and there's going to be some massive cataclysmic event, and basically they hit the reset button.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm just going to go through the powers that Superman had in the old universe. It's a long list, but bear with me, right? He was so strong he could move planets, plural. He could push multiple planets at one time. Flight, obviously. He could move faster than the speed of light. Which, one thing I thought was interesting about that is the Flash of that era was faster than Superman. So he could move faster than something that could move faster than the speed of light. He was purely invulnerable. And to give an example, he flew through the core of a star totally unfazed. And he survived multiple nuclear explosions that he was at the center of. X-ray vision, heat vision, telescopic vision. He could see interstellar distances. He could also see telescopic was interstellar, microscopic as well.
So he could see bacteria working.
He could see at the atomic level. Which is ridiculous. Hearing, he could hear interstellar distances. This I thought this baffled me. He could hold his breath indefinitely.
So he didn't need to breathe.
For God's sake.
He didn't need to breathe.
Can't kill him.
He did, but he didn't need to.
Like, no, not today.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, because that's why he could fly from one planet to another, and that's why he could be underwater with Aquaman and all that and not bother him. He had hurricane. He had a breath that he could blow at hurricane forces, and he had freeze breath.
The freeze breath.
He had eidetic memory.
Sheldon Cooper.
Okay.
As well as being hyper intelligent. Nothing was more intelligent than him.
God, everyone from his galaxy should have moved over. Like,
Sherlock. What was that? I'm only around halfway through the list.
Go on.
He could understand and speak with fluency every language without knowing it. He could just land on a planet and just start talking without even realizing. This one's ridiculous. This is where we get really crazy. He had super ventriloquism.
Oh, for fuck's sake! When would he ever need super ventriloquism?
Well, the idea was that he could throw his voice so far that it would appear that Clark Kent and Superman were in the same room.
Oh, okay.
Hypnotism.
There's another plot device. Though.
Exactly. And the fact that it has a name, super
ventriloquism.
Yeah. But it's just super everything is what he has.
Hypnotism, which, alright, not crazy, but I read some of the examples, it was ridiculous. He did not need food, rest, or water.
Yeah.
And he also had super healing to the point where there was one comic where he was pared back just purely to his skeleton and he recovered very swiftly. So thankfully the Crisis of Infinite Earths fixed all that, got rid of all those powers, and his powers were changed to flight, X-ray vision, heat vision, and
strength?
They changed that. They called it tactile telekinesis. So he's not. He can't actually technically fly. He can't actually technically lift crazy things. It's just if he's touching something, he is actually using telekinesis to move it.
So he's a psychic.
Yeah.
They made Superman Professor X.
Kind of.
When did this happen?
The Crisis of Infinite Earths happened in 84, 85.
So basically what you're saying is the Superman that we grew up with followed this code of behavior?
Yeah. So sorry, the let me say that again. The Christopher Reeve Superman was based on the old one. Okay. That's why he is unstoppable. That's why he has all these ridiculous powers.
And he can turn back time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flying backwards?
Yeah.
And as well as that, both the Henry Cavill Superman and the Brandon Routh, maybe I'll come back to that, seems to be following the new ones where he has limited powers. He's still badass. He still is practically unstoppable, but not insanely so.
How does... Sorry, Jay.
one of my problems with him, he's so bloody inconsistent with the powers, and he's the most well-known superhero in the world, and I think
Hands
the least
down.
understood.
Yeah.
Like, why does he find it difficult to lift a plane when he can move planets?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's a trope that you see all the time.
Yeah.
Him stopping something. So why is it so difficult for him to lift something that's not as heavy as something he can, something massively, massively heavy that he can also push around? Do you know what I mean?
It also explains why he's able to lift a plane by just the nose cone of it without the plane shattering apart or his hands.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Spiking right through it.
Yeah.
That's the tactile telekinesis thing.
What's the explanation for him flying when he's not holding something? Or
He's using the tactile telekinesis on his own body.
oh right,
He's propelling his body through space.
Right.
Has anyone asked the question that if a normal person travelled to the galaxy that Krypton is, would we get similar powers but opposite? Like,
Ooh, never.
because the whole idea that they were just normal people over there on Krypton, but they're actually gods if they move over to this galaxy,
Because
just
of the
sounded
sun.
really
Because of the sun.
stupid to me.
it's the sun.
I know why, but wouldn't you all just move over there and that civilization was alive for a long time.
Oh yeah.
But if we moved over to there,
Yes.
because we're normal people here, would we be super powered over in that
In the
galaxy?
movie though, didn't Russell Crowe send the baby because did they know when they were sending him that he'd be?
He says something like he'll be a god to them or something. It was some throwaway line.
That's a throwaway line in a few of the movies. I think actually, it's
Well, maybe we're so culturally non-advanced compared to them that it wouldn't be worth their effort coming over.
Yes, but in terms of his superpowers, are we saying that that's tech then? That he's technologically advanced, or
Like, would you go back to the Stone Age times to be a god amongst the?
I don't think I would be. We've had this conversation.
Yeah, I know.
Before, yeah,
But
yeah.
like what
If
you
they haven't
can do,
discovered fire yet, I've got a trick for them. But other than that, I don't know. Like,
maybe that's their thinking. Like, oh yeah, we could go over to Earth and we could be gods, but like they're so inferior to us. Why bother?
Yeah.
Do you know? And that's why, like, if we went back to Stone Age times, we'd be so more advanced. But we'd be missing our Wi-Fi and we'd be missing our podcasts.
Yes,
and
but
Wikipedia.
they can fly if they go to the other galaxy. They'll have so much more fun than Wi-Fi.
Well, you know.
I think
That's right. More
If I
fun
had a
than
choice
Wi-Fi.
of giving up the internet for
Flight.
Superman's powers or even just flight, I'd probably give up the bloody internet.
Yeah, but then who would you be talking to? They wouldn't have the same conversational ability as
no
you.
one needs to talk to me. It's like, dude, he's flying by. Look how awesome I am.
Yeah. Right. So here's the question I want to know. I want you guys to kind of relate on. Why has Superman, using Christopher Reeve, Henry Cavill, and Brandon Routh, who you mentioned earlier as the Atom?
Yes,
He was in the Superman Returns movie.
the one movie. Yeah.
Which I didn't know this until I read up about this. The Superman Returns movie was a sequel to Superman 2.
Oh, two?
2.
Oh.
So let me get this right. Christopher Reeve was in 4 Superman movies. There was Superman 1, which is the origin story.
Yeah.
Superman 2, which is the one with General Zod and Co.
Yes.
Yeah.
Superman 3, which was the one with what's his name? It's that guy,
It's not Kurt Russell.
comedian,
Black
mustache. He was in that movie Brewster's Millions or something.
Oh,
What's his name?
Richard Pryor.
Yes, Richard Pryor was in that Superman 3.
Yeah.
And then Superman 4 was the one with
Not as the
nuclear.
bad guy though, was he? Was he?
He kind of was. Superman 4 then was the one with Nuclear Man, and Superman fixed.
Was that Kurt Russell? He was the big sun
Great
guy,
Wall.
yeah, the big blonde hair, and he was
Yeah,
meant to be.
yeah. I
Was
haven't
that
seen
Kurt Russell?
I have never.
I don't know if it was
seen
a
that.
Kurt Russell, but anyway.
Okay.
So when Brandon Routh came out with
Okay.
that film, that was a sequel to Superman 2, and they basically said, "Look, forget about 3 and 4. That doesn't exist."
They're crap. Okay, yeah.
So the
Because
Brandon
are they crap? I haven't
Right.
seen
they
them.
are. They're really bad.
Yeah.
Superman
4 especially. The one with the other super guy, that was crap.
I've seen the one with General Zod,
Yeah,
that's
good.
one of the better Superman movies around.
and then what's the Crisis or Bad Guy in 1?
It's just
that's
it's,
Lex Luthor, isn't it?
Yeah, do you remember that's the one where he flies back in time? So Lex Luthor plants bombs all around the San Andreas Fault to sink all that land, so
Yeah,
then
yeah.
he'll have a whole load of seafront property.
Nice.
I'm not joking. That's his plot.
I mean, like, when you compare modern movies, like
The scale has been upped.
yes, property development, yeah.
Like Tony Stark could be like, "Is that all?" Like,
Sure, go on ahead. I'll just move everyone.
where's the aliens and the robots?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. But like, yeah.
But yeah. So why has Superman been so hard to get right? Why has Superman always been either a bit too ridiculous or not ridiculous enough? Like, you know, or has Superman? Do you think Superman has? Do you think they did get him right?
I'm going to answer this, and Superman fanboys are going to hate me for this, but I think he's an incredibly boring character. There's nothing interesting about the person who can't be defeated. I think that's why Batman is so interesting, because he should be defeated on a constant basis.
But he never is.
And he never is, and he has no superpowers. Whereas Superman has clearly all the friggin' superpowers and more, and you're never worried for him. Like, are you ever at any point thinking, God, Superman's not going to get out of this? Of course he is. I mean, even his weakness, kryptonite, he's never like properly defeated with that. And he's still superpowered even while he's hurting through kryptonite. He's a boring character.
Yes.
Now, my favourite interpretation of him has been Man of Steel, and again, the internet is not going to agree with me here, and hasn't, because they hate the whole dark Superman thing. But I think this is the most realistic take that's ever been done, and I've enjoyed it more than any other.
I think it's the most interesting Superman film.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Fran?
Oh yeah, I love it. And I have a man crush on Henry Cavill.
Aww. He's gushing.
He's beautiful.
Well, you're going to sing his praises pretty soon, so.
Oh yeah, don't forget to stay tuned to the end, where Fran's going to be singing us out
for Fran's forfeit.
But yeah, no. So we're basically all saying that our favorite Superman is Henry Cavill. Are we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you compare him to Chris Reeve, Chris Reeve is just a little bit too kitsch for us.
Yeah, but a little bit too clean cut.
Do you know what I mean? Like that, our generation grew up with the rugged
depending on
bad.
how old you are, because you know, if you're of a certain age, then Christopher Reeve is your Superman. I think.
I think Christopher Reeve is still our Superman in the sense that he's
the one I remember. He's the first I saw.
Yeah, and to be honest, when I think Superman, I do think of Christopher Reeve.
What about your man from
Brandon Routh?
No, Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Oh yeah,
James Dean something.
Dean Cain.
I did watch a lot of that TV program.
So did I.
Yeah.
The thing was, what was interesting about that, the TV show was called The Adventures of
Lois and
Clark. It was focused more on Clark Kent. Than Superman, and which I think is interesting is because up until that point, if you look at the Clark Kent that Christopher Reeve plays, it's this real timid, like okay, Lois, and he perks his glasses up or whatever. Whereas Clark Kent from the 90s TV series was this, you know, go-getter. He was Lois's equal, and he was damn.
Yeah, it was very much about their relationship. It definitely was. But
so
I guess we've also got to talk about Smallville then.
Tom Welling.
Yeah, he was
who technically has played Superman the most out of any other actor, obviously, with 11 seasons of Smallville.
Jesus, 11, isn't it?
11, yeah.
I think I got to maybe 6 or 7 or something.
I
tried to watch it for a while.
I reckon I watched them all.
I reckon I watched season 1.
I didn't get to the part where he was kind of like nearly about to put on the suit. I didn't get to there at all.
They had a rule called no tights, no flights.
They did, but I think they broke it towards the end. Which is fair enough.
Yeah, to be honest,
they lasted a good while. Yeah, I liked him. I thought he was good. The show had its pitfalls, and you know it was.
But nothing more than any modern CW show.
No, but it was.
It really
was that the CW as well.
I don't know, but it's very similar. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you like Green Arrow, Flash, and Supergirl, you should have liked Smallville.
It was very drama based. Like it was like a teen drama.
It was.
In fact, some of the biggest fans were some of the girls living nearby me in college. They really liked it.
Really?
Watching it away. Yeah, because it was all very romancy. It was all very stuff the teenagers think are big deal.
Like, it was always Monster of the Week, but the one thing that united all the episodes were the romantic relationships.
And the love triangles left, right and centre.
They stayed
Lana Lang
constant.
and Lex Luthor, and then I think...
Then Lois Lane came in.
Lois Lane came in after that, yeah.
And then there was his friend...
Chloe Sullivan was a big thing for a while.
And she was into him and he wasn't, and...
I think he was into her then probably at one point. It was there was too much
Jimmy,
going on.
She was with Jimmy for a while.
But it's the kind of stuff that, like, if you enjoy Hollyoaks, you might also enjoy Smallville. Just insert a superhero into the storyline. But no, it had its great moments as well. Like it was very watchable.
Okay, this is interesting. So Smallville started on the WB, which is Warner Brothers channel. I didn't realize this. They dissolved that and replaced it with the CW. So technically it is a CW show. It actually aired
pre-CW.
It's pre-CW, but it actually aired on CW for a couple of years as well.
So is CW definitely owned by Warner Brothers?
Yeah, apparently so.
Well, they would be if they've got
the rights to all. Yeah, that makes sense. I just never questioned it. Okay.
Yeah, it's the CBS and Warner Brothers together. They each own 50%.
Hence the C and the W.
Yeah.
Together again.
He's practicing already. He's getting his vocal cords.
It started.
What do you think of Brandon Ruth?
I thought that was the worst one. No, well, not worst. I just think he's the most forgettable Superman.
It's a bad movie.
He is. He's a bit like he's milky tea.
He's a bit like he's the Val Kilmer of the Superman actors.
Yes,
and then
that's a bit unfair though. He wasn't that bad. The movie.
Well, no, I didn't say
he wasn't that bad. The movie was crap.
Yeah, because like what opposite or similar to opposite to the one you're talking about, the San Andreas Fault wasn't the whole thing was that Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor was making land by touching kryptonite with water or something ridiculous like that.
Something
along
those lines. And an island.
Kind of like lava and water, which makes igneous rock.
He was going to sell it to all the villains because his reasoning was if it's made out of kryptonite, Superman can't come near us. And it's kind of our Superman free zone.
Yes, and by dropping it in the ocean, it would cause tidal wave, which would cause flooding, which means that other land would be covered in water.
Funnily enough, though, we might visit a certain theme like that in Batman v Superman.
Oh,
because if Lex Luthor was trying to create an area that they were free from Superman, the danger of Superman that he presents as a person, like we're gonna that's what Batman's considering now, that we have to. I think it even says it in the trailer. If there's a 1% chance that this guy might turn on us, we have to treat it like it's an absolute.
Yeah,
which is kind of what Lex Luthor was going for, I think, there with the Kryptonite Island and the.
Kevin Spacey was a good Lex Luthor, though.
Kevin Spacey was great
in some ways.
It's his worst role, though. I have to say that was his worst role.
He's a bit.
I think
flamboyant and comedic.
The script was the major downfall of that film. How can I put this? Who out of Christopher Reeve, Dean Cain, Brandon Routh, Henry Cavill,
Tom Welling,
right, and Tom Welling. There are 5 Supermen we're going to go by. We're not going to include the guys from the 30s and 40s and 50s because we don't know them and we haven't seen them.
We don't count the guys before Adam West for Batman either. They existed.
Yeah. So here's what I want you guys to do: rank the Superman in best from worst to best. Who was the worst out of Reeve, Cavill, Routh, Welling, and Cain?
That's actually tough. That's a tough question to answer.
Yeah, Conor, I feel like we have lots of questions for you during this piece that I'm going to need you to clarify.
Conor's actually trying to walk away from the podcast now and has left us stranded. Now we have to talk. I think he may be peeing. I don't know.
We outed him badly though.
But he's kind of
left. Jay, how are you? Okay, I like Henry Cavill. I think he's going to be top dog.
Yeah.
For you, top dog too?
I think he's top dog for me as well. But I don't know whether I think that's because he's doing a great job or because the Superman in that world is so much more believable. I don't know. I couldn't say he is doing great acting as Superman, but I like that Superman character. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't. Physically as well, he
looks the part.
Physically, he really looks the part.
I kind of like the idea of a Superman that's a bit darker, just a little bit. Like you can see he's noble and whatever, but he's also willing to go there. Like he's already killed someone in his first movie, and he's not supposed to do that. He was kind of driven to it, but I just like the realistic tone of it.
I've only seen that movie once. I haven't rewatched it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I should before Batman v Superman comes out. I should really watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who would come next though. For me, Henry Cavill. Like I grew up with Dean Cain,
not James Dean.
Or
Dean Cain.
Dean Cain. I grew up with Dean Cain, but like I would lump that in the same bracket as the A-Team. That type of TV show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't take that too seriously.
Corny but enjoyable.
Yeah. And Terry Hatcher was huge.
She was hot.
Yeah,
she was hot. She still is, I suppose. I think you kind of have to say Christopher Reeve.
I was thinking that too.
I just feel obligated. Yeah. I actually don't think, looking back on those movies, personally, I don't enjoy them that much. Like I don't think I'd sit down and watch.
They're not
any of the original.
They don't
Superman.
Endure the test of time.
No, I don't think so. But I think you're kind of obligated to say Christopher Reeve, but to me, he wouldn't really feature really that much. I don't enjoy those Superman movies.
So far, we've settled on Henry Cavill, and that's it.
Yeah,
he did so much.
I also like the Smallville guy,
Tom Welling.
I like Tom Welling, and I liked Henry Cavill.
I remember back when the Superman Returns movie was being released. There was a huge campaign for Tom Welling to be Superman, and they were saying
it was huge. But same with having
the Flash.
Gustin Grant that's his name, isn't it? Gustin Grant as the Flash.
Yeah.
that was the same thing, but it's never going to happen with rights and whatever. But I guess to answer your question, Connor, I'm not going to answer your question.
Henry Cavill.
I don't
So
think
maybe that just indicates that there hasn't been a standout or a really bad performance of Superman. They've all just been meh.
There've been different levels of meh, and I think we're still waiting for our Superman. I don't think we found him yet.
I feel like Henry could do it. Like,
this is probably going to be the most enjoyable, but at the same time, and I think you missed this, but I said about him, I don't think he's a great actor of Superman. Like, I don't think he's doing great acting in that role as Superman, but I'm enjoying that character.
Now, question: do you mean Superman or do you mean Clark Kent?
Oh, Clark Kent's always horrible, and that's actually Clark Kent's like the elephant in the room.
We haven't seen Clark Kent
in the Man of Steel. That's just going to say, like, it's hard to judge him because he hasn't really had to play Clark Kent.
Clark Kent is going to be in Batman vs Superman.
But I don't enjoy Clark Kent, and he's not bloody believable as an alter ego. Everyone should know that that's Superman. Like, Batman's got a little bit of anonymity, and you kind of believe it.
Oh yeah,
but
two-thirds
for
of his
God's
face
sake, that huge guy that looks exactly like Superman that we're taking pictures of left, right, and center. Of course, it's friggin' Superman. It just breaks the whole thing for me.
There was one little detail I spotted in my research for this. In the Christopher Reeve films, when he's Superman, his hair is, it's perfectly comfortable, but it's parted on the right. But when he's Clark Kent, it's parted on the left.
Yeah,
I just thought, I was like, oh, that's a tiny little detail that really doesn't make a difference, but I kind of respect it.
Look at them making an effort.
Yeah, in all the wrong ways. So then, okay, well, we can't decide on best and worst. So let's go with best actor. Let's go with best and worst moments. What is one moment that stands out in your head, either for good or negative reasons, in all the Superman films that you've seen? Not necessarily all of them that there have been, just that you have seen.
What comes to mind?
I can start with mine just to
go on.
Memories. For me, the best moment that stands out is, funnily enough, in the film that I think is the most boring, is in Superman Returns with Brandon Routh, where he actually does return and someone shoots a bullet at him and it hits his eye.
Yes.
And he doesn't even flinch or blink, and the eye just crumples against his eyeball and drops down to the ground. I just thought that was brilliant. I was just like, that looks so cool.
I was actually thinking that same scene as well, but when I was thinking about it, I forgot about the eye thing, and I'm remembering it now, and it's great. But I was just remembering walking towards that minigun or whatever it was, and the bullets bouncing off. That was great visually. It was fantastic.
It was. And then the worst that I remember, the standout worst, was in Superman 2 with Christopher Reeve, when he's fighting General Zod and the two that I can never remember the name of.
Yeah.
He like reaches for the logo on his chest and takes off this like cellophane S that he throws, and when he throws it grows and wraps one of them up, and you're like, what?
Where did that come from?
Is that a power or a gadget? What's going on? So that's what stood out in my mind. Anything for you, gentlemen?
One of the things that bothered me the most was with the Brandon Routh movie, was when his kid, or Lois Lane's kid, pushes the piano.
Oh, Kid Superman.
Yeah, like, and it never...
actually.
It leaves a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Like, it leaves a lot
and it's like
of questions.
so obviously Superman's kid, and yet they never touch on it.
Yeah, no one was...
That bothered me. But that's because, like, when I was younger, I needed answers. I hated dangling questions.
The dad was actually... I can't remember the actor's name, but he was the guy who was Cyclops, and he left the X-Men franchise...
Scott Summers?
Marston? Is that him? He left being Cyclops to be Lois's boyfriend that she didn't really like. Yeah. God.
That's telling, isn't it?
If you left to be Superman, fair enough. Like,
but to be someone's...
Dear God, to be someone's...
But then Jimmy Jimmy from Smallville turned into Iceman from X-Men.
Yes, that is a good factoid. There's a lot of cross-pollination there.
Yeah.
And now you tell me Jimmy is black.
Jimmy Olsen is black and attractive now. Really, really.
So ablactive.
He's ablactive. He is very ablactive. That's a good term we could coin right now.
Hashtag ablactive.
Yeah, they've made him... I've only watched that pilot episode of Supergirl still. It just bothered me that much. But yeah, they've made him a babe magnet for Supergirl. I think so.
That gets on there. Okay.
My finest moment, I think, the death of Zod in the last Superman movie.
I can't remember it at all.
Yeah.
I remember the fight scene where, like, I remember the background, which is a everything was being lifted up and then
Yeah.
smashed and up and smashed and up and smashed.
Oh yeah.
Because they were terraforming.
They're flattening.
Yeah, and readjusting the gravity. I think is what they were officially doing.
Yeah.
What was his death? What was the death scene?
Zod wasn't used to the powers that the Earth's yellow sun gave to him.
Yeah.
And his heat vision started just going off and he couldn't control it. And Superman just snapped his neck.
But he had to do it because the beams were getting close to a girl, a civilian, some woman.
Why was Superman able to snap his neck?
Because he's got super strength.
Zod didn't.
Zod does also, but
like a normal human can snap a normal human's neck.
So a superpowered human could snap a.
So it's the same. The super strength cancels.
Yeah, it works out. Yeah. So I liked that because it was something we'd never seen from Superman before. It was different. It was a challenging, realistic response to a problem.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to be seeing how much that tortures him in the next. Like, has that changed him? Has he become a bit more totalitarian or something? I don't know. The worst, I think, is from the Christopher Reeve one where he spins back the Earth, because that I remember even as a child I was thinking, this is ridiculous, he shouldn't be able to do that. And not that I was like in any way an expert in physics or anything, but even at that age I kind of understood just because the Earth spins back around does not mean time is like that. It did not make sense to me, and I'm pretty sure that doesn't work. Like,
would that work? No, it wouldn't. But apparently, the director has said since then, we have actually been they were trying to portray that was Superman flying so fast that he broke the light and sound barriers and was going backwards in time.
No, fuck off. That's backtracking. Because you clearly see the planet turning back the other way.
I know, but apparently that's because you're seeing it from Superman's perspective. You're seeing him see that he's going back in time and see the Earth go back. I know, it really does look like he's making the Earth go around backwards to make time go backwards, which wouldn't work.
Connor, someone's telling you porky pies.
No, I've read
Reddit wouldn't lie, Jay.
I didn't get it from Reddit. I got it from Wikipedia.
So there.
Anyway, look, I think that's all we can really get out of Superman. Now, I'm going to ask our listeners a favour.
Listeners?
Okay. Well, we have at least two. So let's hope for that. Anyway.
Well, my whole family now listens to the podcast. I've just been out.
Do you want to say hi?
So, hi everyone back home. I hate you all for listening. Not really. Thanks for listening.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Really didn't want anyone to know, but now they do.
So the first
casualty of the closet.
Yeah.
So, hi Jay's mom.
Hi Jay's mom. You're actually listening. So here's what I want our listeners to do, including you, Jay's mom. If you like this podcast, if you think it's funny, if you think it's interesting, if you think it's worth a listen, I want you to tell 3 people that you know in real life. Just say, hey, I'm listening to this podcast. It's called Geeks in the Closet. It's funny, it's interesting, the lads are good, give it a try. That's all I want you to do.
But tactfully pick them.
Yeah, like don't say that to your 92-year-old grandmother, like unless she's a podcast aficionado. But say it to the people that you think might listen, because we really want our message to get out there, I suppose, don't we?
Yeah. And we think there's more closet geeks out there that could do with a podcast like this.
There definitely are. That's the one thing we really, really want you to do. So if you can do that, that'd be awesome. If you want to do other things, you can follow us on Twitter.
What other things would they like to do?
You know what I mean. Fran, if they want to follow us on Twitter, what would they do?
I feel like I'm filling Jay's role here.
Oh, sorry.
I always say at Geeks ITC.
Well, there you go. You said it. So, Fran, what about the Facebook? What do they do?
Well, Facebook's a little bit more complex. You need to go to our website and type in www.geeksinthecloset/Facebook, and there you will find our Facebook page. Don't go onto Facebook and look up Geeks in the Closet on Facebook, because
it's quite hard to find us.
We don't have enough likes yet to be found.
Please like us.
Once you find us, do like us and share us and
all that kind of
yes,
jazz.
exactly.
And don't forget to look at our actual website, geeksinthecloset.com.
Absolutely, and find us on SoundCloud and Podcast Addict and
Podcast Addict, Podbean, like rate
YouTube,
review everything and anything you can do to spread the message. But the one job you really, really do have is to tell at least 3 people that you think might listen to us and might enjoy us about it. Now,
Zazie ou Zazou? Le French.
Qui a coupé le fromage? No, go on. So, are we doing Zazu or doing Zazu? The thing you guys.
Okay, quick check. Fran, he hasn't recovered from that. Okay, will we do the scenario from the last one? Okay, so our new segment is Zaz, and it's zombie.
Zombie apocalypse survival scenario.
Zombie apocalypse survival scenario. So usually we do Zazu, which is survival update, but this time we're going to do a scenario, and we're going to try and decide what our answer to this certain scenario would be. So will we go with our previous one that we had?
I think the one you mentioned earlier is good.
Okay, so you are in a zombie apocalypse. You are wandering down a road. You've been there for days and days and days. You're trying to get to another new safe location. You're in the middle of a drought. You are dying for something to drink.
You're obviously not in Ireland.
You're obviously not in Ireland, because that will never happen here. You are dying for something to drink. There's been no sources of water.
Or if you're in Ireland, it's been uncharacteristically dry.
Yes. And you haven't had a drink in 2 or 3 days. You've got some young people in your group. You know, people have got to get a drink pretty soon. You're walking along the road, and then all of a sudden there is a bunch of containers filled with water with a message on top of it saying, "From a friend, drink me."
The water looks clean.
The water looks good. It looks fresh. It's cold to the touch. Do you drink from it?
Fran.
Well, I just want to highlight to our listeners that this is completely airlifted from an episode of The Walking Dead that we watched recently, myself and Jay.
Well, now we've just definitely spoken.
Yeah. Like, we need to be upfront about this.
It's a minor enough spoiler. I don't think it's a huge thing. It's fine.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
it is quite
it's
mild.
very tiny.
Yeah,
it's very tiny. It's very tiny. And it's not even the most recent episode of The Walking Dead.
No.
We're quite behind.
We won't tell you who dies next.
No.
Yeah.
Sniffle. Right, Conor, what would you do?
That's why I just asked you. Don't try to
I used your...
He's deflecting.
Yeah, I deflected. It's one of my superpowers, don't you know?
Oh yes, I see you here in the list. Okay, I'm going to cheat using my scientific knowledge. If you recall, one of my Zazu tips...
We talked about this.
Yeah, we talked about this.
We
talked about this. It falls short, but go on, do it.
It falls short. Okay, now... if it's bacterial...
No, we don't know what it is.
Clearly we don't know. I'm just saying what I'm thinking. If it's bacterial... if you want to be sure there's no bacteria in it or whatever, you throw... You leave it out in the sun for as long as possible. It will kill off things. I said that a couple of weeks ago. The problem is... That's not going to get rid of any poisons. That's not going to get rid of anything that might be in it, like paint thinner or bleach, like because they're colorless liquids.
You'd probably taste.
You could sniff them.
You would, but you wouldn't sniff every. Well, you wouldn't sniff every possible poison that could be in it.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
My question is, why? Why would someone leave it out there just to kill a random passerby?
Well, it might be a roofie. There might be roofies in it.
There's
knock you out so they can
cannibals
harvest your organs.
Yeah. They could eat you.
I mean, like, we're not talking about death. We're talking about fates worse than death.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, we all know the real danger in a zombie apocalypse is the survivors more than the actual zombies. So I think you're pretty right to be worried.
Yeah, there's a credible threat there. We were wondering, would boiling it, how would that work?
It would definitely kill off some things, but
it would kill bacteria.
It might denature some things that are in there that aren't
nice.
I don't know what
I
would
don't know
do
about
to poisons
though.
But the boiling level of certain poisons are going to be different to the boiling level of water. I'm guessing it's going to take more heat to boil that out than the actual water would. I'm just guessing there, but anyway.
I to be honest, I think bring it with you. Like, take the containers, keep hunting for a source of water, and up until the point where if you don't start drinking something, you're gonna die, then you chance your arm, because at that point, once you get to the point of if I don't drink now, I'll die.
You've nothing to lose.
You've nothing to lose.
Can I be harsh now because I'm drinking and we're coming to the end of the podcast? Of
course.
I think you pick the asshole in the group that you don't really like and is kind of the runt of the group.
So
Fran, you pick Fran and you tell Fran, listen, Fran, someone needs to drink this so we can find out if it's okay. Let Fran drink it, and after a certain period of time, if he hasn't died yet, it's safe. And then you can drink it.
So why am I the asshole of the group?
He just decided it could have been him.
I'm moderator. When I say goes.
Well, if the 4 geeks in the closet stumbled across this,
there is 4 of us.
How would we pick? How would we pick? Let's make this more real. Would it just be me?
This is harsh. See, it could go one of two ways, right? There's three options I see here. One, the most noble of the group would step forward and say, look, I'll try
It's
it.
not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Which isn't going to happen in our group, but it could happen in other groups.
Yes.
We're an ignoble bunch.
2, 3, this is most likely to happen with us. I don't know who would do it, but 3 of us would bully the 4th into doing it. To be honest, it'd probably be the 3 of you would bully me into it. And the third option would be you draw straws.
You draw straws in a noble way. Yeah,
I would be an advocate for that.
Yeah.
Drawing straws.
Yeah.
I think it's the fairest way.
Now, going on my track record, I tend not to win things within Geeks in the Closet, so I would probably be the loser and I would be forced to drink it.
Well, the forfeit in that is death, so it's a little bit more extreme.
Is it though? Is it more extreme or is it the exact same?
Speaking of forfeits, Fran, I believe you have a forfeit to help us out with.
Are we there yet?
We're there, man. We're there.
We finished with Zazu?
Yeah.
Zaz?
Well, I'm finishing Zaz up just so we can get to
Okay,
the good
let's
bit.
finish it. Jay, what would you do? In a sentence.
That's what I would do. I already said it.
I think we've all settled
Draw
on
straws.
draw
Draw
straws.
straws. Yeah, and then who? Oh, yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. If you're harsh, you pick the runt. If
Right.
If you're
let's just
fair,
say hypothetically,
straws.
Connor, your straw's picked. Would you drink it?
I think it's a case of if I as a person and we as a group were close enough to death and I got the short straw, I'd chance it.
Yeah.
I really do. I think it's like, especially if it was like, well, look, either I'll die and the rest of you guys will keep going and try to find something and probably die, or we'll all die.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Jay,
we'll all survive. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a tough situation. That's all I
Right.
know.
Well, yeah. I think maybe we'll put this up on Twitter and see what everyone else thinks.
Yeah,
It
actually.
might be a good idea. So at Geeks ITC, you'll
So
find
yeah,
this put up.
yeah, cool.
So basically, Fran lost.
I didn't see the image.
Fran lost our competition, our Jeopardy last week, and basically his forfeit was he had to sing a song in the Geeks in the Closet style for this week. Now, I was a total arsehole and I actually wrote an entire song out with actual lyrics for him to sing out. Now, it's to the tune of Remy Zero's Save Me, but it's with our own unique blend of lyrics that Fran is now going to beautifully sing now when he's ready. And I hope I've delayed time enough for him.
There's not enough amount of time in the world for this.
Alright, here we go.
Okay, Fran.
So thank you for listening to episode 7 of Geeks in the Closet. I have been Conor.
I've been Jay.
And you're about to hear Fran sing you out with the delightful I Am a Geek.
I only thought of the endless start. I am a geek. Get me out this goddamn class. I am a geek. I don't know what I did to you. Yay! Come on, I'll be waiting for you. The whole verse that I just can't sing it.
Yeah, I think we need to stop it there.
That was physically
Listeners, I'm so
painful.
sorry for putting you through that.
Oh my God.
Dear.
Why did you not practice? That was me practicing. That was horrible.
That was. For us and for our listeners.
Oh.
Right, that's us.
Right.
Conor out.
Jay out. Fran out of the closet. Full stop period. Word.